while promoting his stablemate, Oscar De La Hoya hates on his former fighter, Canelo Alvarez. He says Canelo's fighting style, he's getting complacent. So he was taking some shots. We're going to talk about that. What up, Fight World? It's your boy, Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, Cash App, Boxingego, $ Boxingego. We working. Now, you guys see it. Oscar De La Hoya, there was an interview conducted, and I'll put the link in the description. It says Oscar De La Hoya's surprising critique of Canelo's win over Callum Smith. Quote, he's gotten complacent. And I'm not going to play it, but you guys can watch it. Link in the description. He was saying it was a good win. Canelo, he in one breath, he was saying Canelo looked good versus Callum Smith. But then out of nowhere, he started saying that Canelo's gotten to a point in his career where he's too selective with his shots and he's gotten complacent. Those are his exact words, that he's gotten complacent. So I was like, huh? Out of nowhere, you're praising the performance and saying Canelo looked good. So to me, this looks like an obvious case of spilt milk. Canelo was with Golden Boy. The two ended on bad terms, in my opinion, because Canelo ended up suing Oscar. Canelo, I'll show you guys. Lawsuit, right? So this was widely reported. I made several videos. It's over now. Canelo files lawsuit against De La Hoya and DAZN and Oscar's company, right? So this was public knowledge. Canelo, in the end, got out of his contract, and he went back to DAZN, which I think most of his problems were with Oscar and Golden Boy. DAZN was kind of caught in the crosshairs and crossfire, But since this break, this is all this year. Since this break, I think that's what kind of prompted De La Hoya right there to make such a comment. For me, as a boxing fan, I watched the Canelo performance and it was scientific. Like I did a Boxingego watch party, in fact, BWP. Make sure you guys check those out. That's where I go live during the fight. Obviously, I can't show you for copyright reasons the fight, but we have a good time anyway. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. But I did one for Canelo versus Callum Smith, and it was the best fight on the card. And Canelo, coming off of a year layoff, roughly, maybe a year and a month or so, he looked good. He sliced up Callum Smith. I like watching Canelo fights because he's a great fighter. And at the end of the day, you see the sweet science and poetry in motion. So I didn't really have any complaints with Canelo's performance. I don't know what De La Hoya is referring to, saying he got complacent. I didn't see that. I didn't see Canelo. I saw Canelo look good in the fight. I don't know what else I don't know what De La Hoya was saying. So to me, it's like he was just trying to take a jab at his former protege / fighter since he's no longer with him. But even stranger than, because that kind of makes sense. Well, it depends on the personality type, but I can understand the logic between somebody who was formerly with a company, no longer with the company. I can understand why they don't necessarily have anything great to say about you. You left them behind. But even stranger was what De La Hoya said after this criticism. After he had this critique saying Canelo has gotten to the fight where it was just weird. He says Canelo's gotten to the point where he's complacent and he needs to up his punch count. I didn't see any of that in the fight. Like, in fact, I was actually surprised because Canelo in past fights had shown stamina issues, and we didn't see that in the Callum Smith fight. So even though he's at 168, it looked like maybe the sweet spot. He looked fatigued and lethargic in some of his fights, like the Jacobs fight in the second half, Triple G in the second half. Even in the Kovalev fight, he looked a lot more sluggish. But this seems to be the sweet spot. 168, he can handle that. At least the guys he's been in with. Of course, we do want to see Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, guys like that, get a shot at Canelo at the 168. But that's a whole separate video. So De La Hoya, it sounds like he's reaching and nitpicking to say something negative, because he said Canelo, he's gotten complacent. He needs to pick up his shots, and he needs to give the fans what they're craving and what they're requesting, like Ryan Garcia. Now, Ryan Garcia, he's a fun fighter, but he's never fought anyone like the guys on Canelo's resume. So that was a weird statement. I understand it's Ryan Garcia's fight week, but you could see the play at hand. De La Hoya seems bitter that Canelo left, so he's just trying to, he looked uncomfortable the whole time even talking about Canelo. The guy was like, asked another question about Canelo, and then he said, okay, moving on to this week. And then De La Hoya almost seemed relieved. Like, if you just I watch people's mannerisms. De La Hoya looked like he was, I don't know, he looked kind of like shifty-eyed. Like he didn't even really want to talk about Canelo. But to say Canelo needs to be more like Ryan Garcia, I mean, come on. And if anything, Ryan Garcia looks up, that's his gym mate. That's the leader of his gym. Ryan Garcia went to Canelo's gym. So that was just a weird, foolish comment from De La Hoya to say Canelo needs to do anything like Ryan Garcia, given Canelo's current career and where he's at versus Ryan Garcia. We still got to see how Ryan looks versus Luke Campbell. So to me, it seemed like De La Hoya was just trying to hate. But again, back to what I was saying before, after critiquing, saying he looked good, but then saying he was complacent and he needed to be more like Ryan Garcia and give the people what they pay for, he says later in the same interview that he could work with Canelo in the future because they could present Canelo some type of lucrative deal that has him fighting under the Golden Boy banner. So I'm not really sure what that consists of. Maybe, I guess, if Jaime Munguia beats Gennady Golovkin and maybe a fight like that in Mexico, maybe that's what he's referring to. But outside of that, I don't really know what fight that Golden Boy could present that would lure Canelo back to Golden Boy or to working with them. You know, you would have to ask Canelo. It's his career. It's up to him and Chepo and Eddie Reynoso what they want to do. But that was kind of a weird statement too, especially after you kind of critiqued him for no reason. There was nothing wrong with the Callum Smith performance. Canelo looked great. He looked brilliant. That's why people want to see what the next step is. And, you know, people don't want to necessarily see the Avni Yildirim fights like that. Canelo's too good for guys like that. Even the Billy Joe Saunders, you know, that doesn't really do much. You have to put him in with the style that can complicate Canelo's style. But as far as what we watched in the Callum Smith, I don't think Canelo looked complacent at all. He looked hungry. There was no signs of ring rust. He won every single round. I mean, I don't know what else Oscar De La Hoya would be expecting. So to me, I'm going to label this in the hate category. Let me know how you take it. Link in the description if you want to watch the interview. De La Hoya looked kind of shifty-eyed when he was saying it. I think he just, you know, he doesn't want to really give props to Canelo because of how it ended. Also, before I get out of here, use my link ESPN Plus. There's a ton of original content for $5.99 ESPN Plus as a standalone app. You can also get the bundle ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps for one low price of $12.99 by clicking my link. As an independent creator, this helps me do housekeeping around here, upgrade, get new gear, so the presentation is even better for you guys in the future. Let me know how you guys think of this De La Hoya interview. To me, it sounded like he was hating on Canelo, but you guys let me know in the comments. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.